Hey guys, welcome back to Contest Prep University. Joe Klemczewski with Adam Atkinson, and one final episode on tanning product because I wanted to, Adam, as we finish the last episode, have a chance to talk about some of those tricks that I mentioned and maybe misapplication. I'm gonna dive right back into Dream Tan, and then we'll branch into the other applications. But I remember back in the day when people like Brandon Greenwood and John Harris and my client Jim Cordova were winning world championships just, one after the other. And the interesting thing is, without any base tan whatsoever, white as a ghost, going backstage, and in an hour emerging looking like a bronze statue, just flawless. And what you see is these guys taking their time using small amounts of Dream Tan, really massaging it into the skin. You see people back there patting it down, a lot of smacking and slapping going on. And that's, it's really just to kind of smooth it out so that, as you mentioned last time, instead of spackling it on where you really do potentially, create a little bit of almost just too much of a layer, you really can't cover the crevices of muscle striation with this stuff. But it can become so thick that there's just enough of a layer of the Dream Tan that your eyes almost kind of stop there. And so I do see that people who use thin coats, apply it, over and over and over, letting it set up, really do end up with pretty flawless tans.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think getting that Dream Tan on in small amounts is definitely key. Like you said, keeping it out of the crevices, and just like you said, you get a show where everyone's using Dream Tan, you'll hear it. It sounds like a band playing backstage, all the slapping with applying it on.
But I have seen people use it also as just a top coat. So, I mentioned that I helped Paul Ravella at the Yorton Cup last year, and he went in with Pro Tan. He was applying it, 2 or 3 times a day, had it all on there. And it's a last-minute decision. He's looking around saying, I don't know, I might not be dark enough. And so we put on a thin layer, and it just looked fantastic. But, I will say, let's move over a little bit to the non-Dream Tan and the fact that now you have to use some kind of a glaze or an oil.
Yeah.
And I had a client in the Pro World Championships that was noticeably just too dry. Her husband was applying backstage, and I thought, yeah, it looks fine. And on stage, compared to everybody else, it really did make the muscle tissue look a little bit flatter, and we really missed it, whereas other people can look almost too oily. So is there a way that you can make sure that is a little bit more faultless?
Yeah, I think what happened in your case is it might have been a lot of time from the time you saw that oil perfect to getting on stage. So always carrying your own bottle can be huge. And if you think you have a lot of time, you may want to carry a bottle of glaze in your lineup just in case to maybe re-oil some areas before you go out. Because you're right, there's a fine line of too much glaze where there's just so much light reflected off the body that you can't see anything. And I've had a horrifying experience with that with a client once. Luckily, he still won his class, and we fixed that for the overall. But I was very lucky he got that win because it was that close that I really couldn't believe they got it with having that much of a reflective state on him. But also, some people's skin just soaks in fluid very quickly like that. And that's something you always have to be aware of when you are putting that stuff on people. So sometimes I might glaze somebody twice, an initial coat, and then 20 minutes later do a very, very light coat on top of that. And if you go too heavy with it, you can always pat it off like with your clothing or anything. So my wife always wonders why I keep buying new contest jackets for backstage. I'm like, well, because half of them have oil all over them because I'm patting some people a little drier than some of my other clients. So
yeah, and one final thing, guys, and this is almost a public service announcement. Take your own sheets so you're not ruining the hotel sheets. Wear nice big baggy clothing and maybe team jackets so when you're sitting in the auditorium, you're not getting stuff on that. But also, remember to take a big package of baby wipes, because whether you're using Dream Tan or something else, when it's all over, that can be extremely helpful to get that stuff off of you before you get into your own car or, head out to a shower. But anyway, we hope that you guys enjoyed this little episode, or series, I should say, on tanning. And as always, leave your comments and questions in, and we will help fill in any gaps that you need on the topic. So we will catch you guys next time in Contest Prep University.